Welcome to the wild episode with Wolfie, my husky, who has decided to grace us with her presence. She's quite cozy for the moment, but let's see how long this lasts. She's more like a cat. Once she's had enough of belly scratches, she will likely jump off the sofa. This is the first wild episode, so what to expect? We're going to look at how I stayed wild this week. I've got 3 questions to answer, and then we have some unhinged moments to go through, which I am very excited about. Let's kick this off. Wolfie, this is a question for you. What do you feel when we went to climb a mountain the other day, but then we saw fresh moose tracks? So Adelaide decided that we would climb a different mountain just in case someone can't be trusted. I was then on my period, so the other mountains required a lot more resilience, which I didn't feel I completely had that day. So then we chilled for an hour in the sun while everyone else summited cool mountains. What do you feel in that situation? Wild, she says. We did feel a bit wild. There was that feeling of like, this is what life is meant for. Chilling in the mountains in the sun. Staying wild means following your inner knowing, even when it might not make complete sense to you. So what have we done this week to stay wild? The most wild thing I can think of that we did was I made the very just grabbing Wolfie to make her stay on the sofa. She is now trying to play, but doesn't realize how important a podcast recording is. On Friday, I saw some of my podcast guests, actually. A couple of them were in Strin, which is this beautiful place in the fjords, but it also has a summer ski center on a glacier. I was like, right, Wolfie, Friday at 8 o'clock in the evening, we have to go. Again, following the wild, like it was completely ridiculous at 8 o'clock to drive 2.5 hours to go summer ski the next day. But I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. I followed my wild, packed up the car, got all my sleeping stuff ready, just drove to Strin in the evening, listened to my favorite author, Sarah J. Maas. I'm now on the 4th or 5th book, I think, Thrones of Glass. It was slow going, but now loving it. I just drove until I stopped driving. The next morning, got up, went to the Strin Ski Center, bought my ski pass. Straight away, met Martin, a skier who's coming on the podcast later, which was super fun. Then went skiing and just met different people on the chairlifts, met different people in the slopes. I then bumped into Emil, who is also coming on the podcast later. Just followed my soul, followed the wild, and it can be in the small stuff. So I was like, okay, been skiing a lot on the right-hand side, let's ski more on the left. I could see some tracks, but it just wasn't clear how to get there. Started talking to a guy in the chairlift. They were like, oh, we're going to the left, it's really fun snow. I was like, brilliant, that's where I felt the pull, because maybe you just feel this like tug or this pull to go. So I was like, fantastic. Do you mind if I join you? No, come along, we'll show you where to go. So they showed me where to go. Skied down there for a bit, then went on to the other side, just following your wild in these really small ways. I was able to tag along with Emil to the campsite, hanged out with them for a bit. They're at the Strin Festival, which looks super fun actually. They were gearing up to party, and I was like, okay, well, I don't have a ticket. This is my cue to go, and I don't really feel like going home yet. Let's go to this beautiful beach I know, and let's just chill there, and then maybe I sleep there, maybe I don't. I just sunbathed by the fjord for a couple of hours, listening to my book, listening to some chill music, listening to the sounds of nature, meditating. Around 9:30 in the evening, I was like, actually, I don't want to sleep in my car again tonight. The weather doesn't look that great tomorrow. Let's just drive home again. So then we drove home, and here we are recording the wild episode. This is how you can start to follow your wild and just feel this pull, this tug in different directions. The more you tune in, the more you follow, the more your mind, body, and soul are like, hey, it's safe to follow your wild. So you can follow it in the small ways, which then build up to the bigger ways. So that was this week how I followed my wild. Now onto dilemmas. I'm so excited for this. I have 3 questions that I've been asked. I have not prepared anything, so very much answering off the cuff, which I'm finding out this is actually more how I like to do things. The first question is, how can I keep performing at a high level without burning out? This is really very relevant to the masterclass we've just done. We can be a high performer without hustling hard and pushing ourselves into oblivion. And actually, high performance doesn't just mean working hard, it means resting hard. We want to play, we want to work, we want to rest. When we think about performance, we always think about the doing, but actually high performing is also about the being. When we look at how do I perform at a high level without burning out, we want to look at, well, where are you recharging, resting, and resetting every single day and at the weekend to ensure on Monday you can show up as your best self. When you read about really high performing athletes, they're ensuring they are getting enough sleep. They're not the ones being like, oh, I'm hustling until 3 in the morning, getting 4 hours sleep, and then I'm going again at 7 a.m. or 5 a.m. They're the ones saying, no, I'm actually getting 7 to 12 hours of sleep a day. They know it is important. Taking a nap in the day isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are taking care of yourself. High performing doesn't come at the cost of your health. High performing means you are taking care of yourself and putting your health number one. Because I can tell you right now, without your health, you don't have shit. I've experienced that twice in my life. I can honestly tell you it's been the worst experiences of my entire life. Put your health first. The question you want to be asking is not, how can I keep performing at a high level without burning out? It's how can I keep performing at a high level and maintaining a high level of health? Our quality of life is equal to the quality of the questions we are asking. You want to be asking yourself this question: how can I keep performing at a high level while maintaining a high quality of health? What habits do you need to install? What do you need to believe about yourself? High performance is having healthy, strong boundaries, so you are not working until 1 in the morning. Your colleagues know that when you're on holiday, you are in fact on holiday. When you are off, you are off. I've had clients who've decided that when they walk in the door, the work phone goes on the table by the door. It means that they don't work past 11 p.m. They don't answer emails or phone calls after 10 p.m. When it's the weekend, they are off. If they have to work Sunday, then they make sure they recharge on Saturday fully and completely, or as best they can. I hope this answers your question, but the question I'm turning around to you is, how can I keep performing at a high level with maintaining high quality health? That's where the triangle of transformation can come in. Go through masterclass we've just had. If burning out is the current result of high performing, then what do you need to do to have high quality health and high performing up there? What energy do you need to show up? What do you need to think, believe, identify as? What feelings and thoughts do you need to have? And then the same goes for the actions. What habits, strategies, behaviors do you need to execute in order to have high performing with high quality health? Next one. What if I've outgrown my current path but have no idea what's next? This is a great question. The thing that instantly comes to my mind is Walt Disney. Walt Disney had a great strategy for coming up with every single story. He would have a specific day and room in which he would imagine. It's called Imagineering. In this room, there is no place for judgment, critique. Will it work? Will it not? Is it good? Is it bad? No. We are just imagining. We are dreaming of what we want to do, who we could be, how we could live our life. There is no limits, no ceilings, no barriers, no obstacles to this. You want to get yourself into an environment where you can just dream and imagine what is possible for you. What would be super cool to do? What would you love to do? And not be caged in by anyone's thoughts, projections, society. You just dream and imagine. If you find that you exit that state of mind, walk out the door, come in again, literally shake it off. You just dream. Then maybe the next day or a week later, you start to look at the ideas. Okay, what is good? What is not so good? What would I really love to do? What I'm not so keen on? Here we're just sifting through our ideas, our imagination, our dreams, and finding out what really stands out to me and what doesn't stand out to me. Pick 1 to 3. In another room, another environment, another day, maybe a week later, you want to be like, okay, I'm going to choose this one dream. How do I make it a reality? You create a step-by-step plan. Maybe the first thing is, actually, I think I want to do high rocks or CrossFit. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it though. So maybe the first thing you do is go to a taster session and find out, do I like CrossFit or high rocks? Yes or no? Actually, I didn't like that. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board. What was a dream that stands out to you next? You'll hear from our guests as well. They have this incredible pull to a passion and they love it. That's what they want to do more of, and they just follow their joy. But when we don't know what is our joy, what do we like, what don't we like, then as they recommend, it's all about testing and tasting, doing little bits to find out, do I like this? Okay, yes, okay, I think I'm gonna do more of it. Maybe I'll invest more time, energy, and money into this. Do I not like it? Then okay, I'm gonna step back and try something else. I don't like the word failure. I recommend removing that from your vocabulary. When I've interviewed high performers before in my previous podcast, they were all about learning. Each thing that didn't work out, it was a learning experience. And that's how you want to think about your life. What am I gonna learn next about myself? I've been doing that this winter season. Having gone through severe depression, the hormone hell stripped me down to the absolute cornerstone of who I am, this raw and honest version of me. I've now been building that up layer by layer, and I've had to discover, who am I? What kind of skiing do I actually like to do? Do I like to go on my own? Okay, if I'm going on my own, what do I like to do? Do I like going with other people? Okay, yes, but then who do I like going with? Do I like camping out? Sometimes. Do I like skiing in all weathers? Actually, not anymore. I like quality days. I've had to learn this by trying different things, by investing in programs, in courses, by going out on different days. What do I like? I hate skiing in whiteout. So now if it's whiteout or if it's really windy, I'm not gonna go skiing. I'm going to do something else. Maybe we go for a walk or we go for cross-country skiing instead. This summer again, I'm finding out, what do I like to do? Do I like cycling with my dog? Do I like hiking? Do I like running? I don't know anymore. I'm gonna do little bits to find out, what do I like doing? What don't I like doing? If I don't like it, that's fine. I don't have to do it. There's no shame around that. If I suddenly wanted to do a different job, that's fine. This is my life. I get to do what I want to do, and if other people judge me for it, that's fine. That's their judgments. It's really important to start thinking in this way. I hope that helps and gives you some strategies on what you could do next. The last question is, how do I stop being the strong one for everyone else and finally prioritize me? Another great question. Actually, I had this conversation with my client the other day. You have to fill your cup up first. It's actually an interesting question. The thing I'd want to ask you is, what is your definition of being the strong one for everyone else? What does the strong one mean for you? Are you actually being strong? Do we want a new definition of being strong? Because I would wonder if the strength you're showing or that you feel you have to be is A, aligned with who you want to be, and B, is actually a good role model for those around you and for everyone else. Prioritizing yourself. As I said, I had this conversation with my client the other day. We think that filling up our own cup first is selfish. It is the most important thing you can do, because if your cup is full or mostly full, then you can show up as your best self. And that's what I'd want to understand, is who is your best self? And also, how do you want to show up for everyone else? And do you want to show up for everyone else? Because we can't show up for everyone else. We can't be strong for everyone. We can't be liked for everyone, because then we're not being true to who we are. That would be what I would want to understand, is what does it mean to be strong to you? How would you love to be strong? Are you filling your own cup? How can you fill your own cup? And how would you like to start showing up for yourself? And then who would you like to show up for your best self for, and who not for? And then we can start to create healthy boundaries and decisions around that. So there were my dilemmas. I hope you liked the answers. If you have your own dilemmas, please submit them to me. I want more questions. You can submit them via DM on LinkedIn or Instagram, via the link in my Instagram bio if you'd like to be anonymous, or via the dilemmas link in the show notes. Suddenly sound Australian, in the show notes. Now for the unhinged moments. I am so excited to read these with you. Wolfie is already trying to escape again. You would think after so many hours of hiking yesterday, which will be in next week's episode, she would be tired and want to sleep on the sofa, but no. She's like, I would rather be in my kennel, away from you, or in the darkest corner upstairs. I mean, really, is it too much to ask to have some company? Look at the side eye. If you're listening, she's giving me a proper side eye. Okay, let's jump into unhinged moments. What propaganda are you unsubscribing from? And I had some really good answers. Skincare routines. You do not need 13-step routine to get good skin. I have to agree, actually. Mine is now so minimal. Propaganda I'm unsubscribing from is advertising, as in that we need to buy a lot of shit to be happy. Agreed. Although some shit I buy for skiing makes me really happy. Propaganda I'm unsubscribing from is training plans. I'm working on a new, very busy job, and now I'm training as I feel. Love it. I'm doing exactly the same. I have one more. Propaganda I am unsubscribing from is there are far more genders than two. I love how in these unhinged moments, we're gonna get so controversial. I am all here for it. Next week, we have another wild episode. In my Instagram stories is me asking a question for the unhinged moment next week. Have a visit, drop in your answer, and I wanna have so many that it's like challenging to choose from. This is my dream, that we can just have a full-on laugh, giggle, get controversial, just have like such a fun time reading these out. If you enjoyed this week's wild episode, please rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends, and stay wild. I guess that sounds a bit cringe, but do stay wild. I need to come up with a better podcast sign off, so maybe in next week's episode it'll be less cringeworthy.